Hello, welcome. Welcome to Make Success Your Lifestyle. I am Vanessa, and today we are going to talk about a very important topic. We are going to talk about the three signs that your money mindset is keeping you stuck. So, if you are an entrepreneur, if you're a coach, if you're a practitioner, if you're an expert, and you are looking for ways to grow your business, you haven't quite been able to figure that out yet, and you are analyzing where do I need to look to create these changes that I want, the first thing you need to do is look inside because most of the times those block those blocks, those obstacles that are keeping us from figuring things out are coming from inside of us. So let's dive deep into this topic and talk about signs that will help you identify if this is actually happening to you right now. So, the first sign is fear, and it's actually fear of financial success. So, fear of financial success normally appears as you feeling reluctant to make decisions that could expand or scale your business. For example, you might avoid investing in new technology or hiring essential staff, maybe even one person, maybe even a VA if you're just starting out, because you're afraid of the changes that this could bring. Now, here's the thing about fear. Usually, you are not aware that this is something that you are afraid of. So, how does this fear show up? How do you identify that this is happening? Well, this fear can show up as indecision, excessive caution, and, simply opportunities pass you by because you overanalyze it, or you're avoiding risks, or you're waiting for the perfect moment to come. This means that you are just playing it safe. And you know what? Playing it safe is just avoidance. And avoidance stems from fear. So look at the places in your life in which you feel you might be doing this. It could be your life or it could be your business. And remember one very important thing: success is about taking risks. Calculated risks, of course. I'm not telling you to go crazy and do whatever. No, you analyze the situation, but the only way to be successful is by believing in yourself and risking forward. You analyze the risk and you think about it and you say, yes, I can handle this. I am willing to handle this. You risk forward, and that is how you succeed. So I want to give you an example of a client that I worked with that had this block. So for the sake of her privacy, I'm just going to call her Jane. So she got a partnership offer with a larger company than hers, and she turned it down. And so the reason why she turned that down was she was afraid that she could not handle the workload and the pressure, even though she had the expertise, the resources, and the capability. So, this is a clear example of fear making you play small. Why? Some people might say, "Oh, but maybe the whole workload thing was real." Well, here's the thing about growth. Number 1, it is uncomfortable. You need to step out of your comfort zone to make things happen. So, once you step out of that comfort zone, you can then figure out the ways to make the situation work in your favor. Maybe the way the position was set up initially was all about a huge workload that wasn't appealing to her. But as a new lead, she could have come in, you know, figure things out, move things around, and make this situation work for her, right? Which is what she later did. But I just wanted to give you this example of how When you're coming from fear, when you're coming from a place in which you're playing small, you don't really have the capacity to see the full possibilities, and so that's the reason why you could make mistakes that could keep you stuck. Let's move on to step number 2, to sign number 2, I'm sorry, and it's guilt around earning and spending money. So, guilt around money often stems from deeply ingrained cultural and family beliefs. So, many people grow up hearing that money is the root of all evil, or that desiring wealth is greedy or is selfish. You know, those phrases. Money doesn't grow on trees. It's hard to make money. It takes a lot of time and a lot of hustle to make money, right? So, personal beliefs based on your experience can also influence these beliefs. So, for example, if you have failed in the past, these experiences can create a mindset that earning money is hard. Why? Because that's what your experience has been, right? Or that you aren't capable of doing these things, and this blocks you from making the correct decisions that will actually lead to wealth. It will also keep you from investing in yourself or in your business, which is really the most important thing you need to do. Because if you feel guilt and you perceive that investing in yourself is unnecessary spending, you're in a very bad place. You are your most important asset. If you want your business to flourish, if you want your life to flourish, your mindset is the first thing you need to work on. So, being an entrepreneur is all about personal development, growing, expanding your vision, expanding your limits. So, I want you to really analyze how you feel about spending money and about receiving money. And when it comes to receiving money, yes, there can be a lot of guilt as well. And this shows up in several different ways. So I'm going to talk to you about Sarah. Sarah is not her real name, of course. She is a client I worked with, and she's a yoga teacher, and she grew up in a low income household. So, Sarah had over 20 years of expertise. She was a real yoga guru. She had so much richness, so much wisdom to share with all of the people that worked with her. Yet she had a problem. She felt uncomfortable setting the correct prices for her teacher trainings, and that was keeping her business stuck. She was afraid that if she raised her prices, she would be perceived as greedy, selfish, or non-spiritual. There was also another thing that was blocking her, and it was her family's beliefs about money. So, she was taught that having high aspirations was greedy, and that the best way to live was by being modest and frugal. That was the only acceptable, the only honest way to live. She was holding herself back so that she would continue to fit in her family mold. And this is a very important thing, because when you grow, when you evolve, sometimes, many times, you do outgrow the people that are around you. And you need to be aware of that so that you can lovingly accept that you've moved past that and you have a higher vision for yourself and for your own life, so that those limiting beliefs that are coming from the people that are dearest to you, that are around you, will not hold you back. Does that make sense? After I worked with Sarah, she realized that creating abundance in her life was actually the best way for her to serve the people she was meant to serve. So once she started working on that, she gained the power to serve in a more powerful way. Once she let go of that guilt about what she was charging, she was able to grow her business beyond her wildest dreams. So she created a new online teacher training that allowed her to reach people all over the world, as opposed to the local trainings that she started with. And she also started creating these beautiful, powerful retreats that she was leading all over the world. And she was literally changing the lives of all the people that joined her. So she was changing lives, other people's lives with her work. And at the same time, by doing that work, by accepting her growth, by fully stepping into that growth and letting go of all of those limiting ideas, she was changing her own life at the same time. So now that I mentioned that Sarah had this guilt, right? This guilt about earning money, about spending money. And for that reason, she was undercharging. One of the other signs that you need to be aware of, and I'll tell you something, I see this in the majority of entrepreneurs, especially those who are working in personal development or spiritual, in the spiritual niche. And the sign is undercharging and over delivering. So, undercharging and over delivering stems from a very limited money mindset. So if you identify that you are doing this, you need to take action. You need to work on this. So what does this mean? This means that you don't really recognize the true value of your work. And where does this stem from? This is coming from a very deep limiting belief that says, I am not enough, right? And so I am not enough. My work is not enough for me to charge in the premium price range. So I keep my prices low. This mindset is rooted in a lack of confidence, fear of rejection, or feeling that your work is not good enough. And this is, good old imposter syndrome that can happen to anyone. Okay. So recognizing the value of your services and charging accordingly is essential for you to achieve financial success and for your business to be sustainable and thrive, right? So, when entrepreneurs undervalue their services, what happens when you do that is that you inadvertently are signaling to your clients and to the entire market that your offer is not of high value. And if you're over delivering, your offer is probably, it has immense value. The problem is you aren't framing in it that way. You don't know how to position it in that way. You don't know how to position yourself in that way because deep inside, you don't really feel it. And that is because of the limiting beliefs. So I have another example about this, about another client who she was a health she still is a health coach, and she was charging very low rates and she was giving it all. She is so amazing, she is so good, she has so much experience and so much goodness to bring into the world. So what was happening? The typical undercharging, over delivering. And so how do you address this if you identify that you are doing the same thing? So, the first thing you need to understand is you need to do well so that you can do good. I'm going to repeat that one. You might want to write it down. You need to do well so that you can do good. You can do good for others. If you don't create abundance for yourself and focus on your own wealth and your own well being, you are going to end up burning out and you are not going to be able to serve your people at the highest level. So, over delivering and undercharging, it depletes your energy, it depletes your power because it means you are selling from your knees. And selling from your knees is when you're selling your services as an expert, as a coach, as a practitioner. What's going on inside your head is you're thinking, please buy from me, please buy from me, please buy from me. This is you or whoever's doing this coming from a scarcity mindset. What you need to do is place your own focus on the value of what you offer. Focus on the power of the transformation that you can create for your clients. So instead of thinking, please buy from me when you are trying to sell, focus on Don't try to sell. Just talk about the transformation that you are able to create for people when they work with you. That is the best way to look at this. And this takes practice. But by practicing this all the time, keeping this in your top of mind, you will start to see tangible changes. So, undercharging means your business is not going to be growing. You're not going to be making the money you should be making. And that is going to spill over into your personal life. It causes anxiety, it causes burnout, and it causes resentment because you're putting in the love, you're putting in the effort, you're putting in the energy, and you're not getting it back. Why? Because your money mindset, you have limiting beliefs that are holding you back. Another thing that happens when you are undercharging and over delivering is something that is really, really common. And what happens is that you attract the wrong kind of clients who aren't really willing to invest in themselves. They're more price sensitive. They're looking for cheap bargains. They aren't really willing to invest in themselves. And so they are much less likely to take action. These type of clients very often lead to a cycle of underappreciation. They underappreciate what you do, and in consequence, you overwork. So, you want to work with people who value what you do and who are committed to putting in the work with you to achieve those results that they're looking for. That is a win win situation. In a win win situation, you are charging the full value of your services and you are working with people who, because they are willing to pay, they appreciate the value of the transformation, they are willing to go all in and create that transformation for themselves. And there is nothing that can be more gratifying than that, than watching the results of your work. So, if you want to dig a little bit deeper into ways to work on your mindset, I want to invite you to download my free guide that's called 5 Growth Mindset Hacks for Manifesting Business Success. So the link, if you're on YouTube or podcast, the link is in the description. And if you're on TikTok, just go to my bio and click on the link. This is a very, very, very potent guide, and it's going to give you a counterintuitive strategy to 10x your sales. It's going to explain how to release your abundant blocks and make a quantum leap in your success and in your income. And it's going to help you reprogram your decision making and risk assessment skills so that all of your actions lead to breakthrough results. Okay, so just go ahead and click in the description and get it for free. 5 Growth Mindset hacks for manifesting business success. Well, that is all for today. I will see you next week. Thank you very much.